I had a friend say to me the other day that he really appreciated Charlie Kirk as a brother in the Lord, but that he thought that it was quite unfortunate that Charlie Kirk mixed politics with his faith. And I'm like, it's not unfortunate that Charlie Kirk mixed politics with his faith. It is essential that Christians mix politics with their faith once you understand what politics actually are. I'm not talking about party politics, but advocating for righteousness in society, the governance of society, paying attention to the necessities of sustaining stable society. To fail to do so turns governing mechanisms over to those who are power hungry enough to lie, cheat, and steal to gain domination over everyone else. Many who look at the political conversations that are taking place around them, especially among Christians, tend to take a certain virtue in maintaining neutrality in politics. They keep this, both sides have problems, both sides have difficulties. Neither side is perfect, and therefore they want neutrality. And this they wear this like a badge of virtue. Oh, look at me! I'm a truly good Christian. I only pay attention to the gospel. I only pay attention to the church and to eternity, and I don't worry about the stuff of this world. But let's be honest: inaction favors the wicked. You call yourself a Christian. You don't want to get involved in politics. You want to maintain neutral. You want to constantly talk about how both sides have problems. When one side is committing almost all the crimes, one side is committing all the violence, and one side has an ideology that is downright damnable, godless, hateful, murderous, an ideology whose entire history is mass murder, mass starvation, mass arrest, torture, oppression, total domination, and the crushing of the church, the crushing of freedoms that allow the church to move and function and to preach. I'm sorry, there's no room for neutrality in that fight. Inaction favors the wicked, always. If you take governance seriously, as 2/3 of the Bible does, the entire idea of nationhood in Israel throughout the Old Testament, then he or she needs to seriously consider the impact that governance has on the governed. This is loving your neighbor as yourself. This demands more than studying the gospel and salvation. It demands studying anthropology and hamartiology and ecclesiology. That means to understand the nature of man, thus understanding how to best govern man, thus understanding how to best reach man with things like the gospel, and hamartiology, which is to understand the sin nature of man, to really understand it and how it works in the world, and to recognize that it demands justice, it demands attention, it demands checking, confrontation, demands limitation of human nature, and ecclesiology, the role of the church in the world, which is more than just going to church on Sunday. It's being in the community and representing Jesus in every aspect of life in society, defending the weak against the brutal. It demands studying anthropology and hamartiology and ecclesiology as more than an insubstantial backdrop for soteriology and pneumatology, i.e., it's not just about getting people saved. It's also about creating environments in which more people get saved. And it's also about fighting for justice and standing against wickedness. There's a whole lot of that in the Bible, and we need to be paying attention to all of it. There is no bad law versus good grace in the scriptures. We fabricate that. We make that up. I preached a message one time on the power of the law to create a seedbed in society for acceptance, ready acceptance of the gospel. And a pastor came up afterwards and said, I can't believe somebody said something positive about the law in my church. He was outraged. Why not? Paul had beautiful things to say about the law. The entire Old Testament has beautiful things to say about the law. The law is God's gift to the world, and we owe it to the world to represent it. Not just preach salvation, but to preach the law, which has a role in bringing people to salvation. So again, there is no bad law versus good grace in the scriptures. Rather, each has its place in the salvation experience, and a Torah-rich society is a rich seedbed for the gospel in preparing hearts for its acceptance. We're not called to hide in the bushes, away from all societal responsibilities, and simply pick off stragglers for Jesus. Loving our enemies is not an exclusionary call away from loving our neighbors. Allowing evil to flourish while we hide in bushes and saying both sides need Jesus is actually an abandonment of our commission to make disciples and to teach obedience. Everybody loves the make disciples part. Go into all the world, make disciples. What's the follow-up? And teaching them to obey. It's not like, oh, we just ignore the world. We ignore everything that's happening around us, and we only focus on those little stragglers we pick off for Jesus. No, cannot stand. The early church may have been disenfranchised from the mechanisms of governance, but we're not. And to abandon those roles to whoever wants them bad enough to fight for them is a great sin. The question is not whether we should get involved, it's how to get involved. God ordered the world. He put law into it. He put Israel with Torah into it. He put his son into it. He put his church into it. Do we really imagine that with the birth of the church, God forsook everything that he ever said about governance and law and order and negated the demand for the blood of murderers and the blood of those whose actions unravel human society? It is a travesty of neglect to do so. So in the face of wanton evil running amok, we don't say, both sides have fault, so I won't choose. We say, how can I love my enemies and my neighbor without allowing either to unravel human society, undermine divine order, and multiply their victims?